And okay, how to draw heads, a crash course. Okay, so if we'll start with me sketching, right? So I did a lot of doodles when I was young, and I always liked the 3/4 turn to the right. And so I just kind of go 1 bump, 2 bump, a chin, and then upwards and to get the jawline. Okay, it was 1 bump, 2 bump, and then a chin to get the jawline. That is ingrained into my muscle memory. I do this for every starting drawing because sometimes I just don't know where to start, and this is how I start. This is my face shape. I have a hard time going the other way. Anyways, so then we'll talk about the eyes, right? So after I draw this shape, I like drawing the eyes first, or second, I mean. And I draw the eyelid or eyeline, and then I kind of come down here and here. And so the proportions for this kind of come, you have to think of the face with the angles, right? So you have your nose and your mouth that are going to be kind of on this parallel, and then your eyes kind of dip back right here, and then your forehead comes around again. And that's the idea with the eyes here. So they'll be kind of in this midline between your nose and your forehead. And I guess anime eyes are really big, right? So the nose is really tiny like this. And then you have the mouth that's on the same line as the nose. I like to make sure that the nose kind of lines up with the mouth so it looks a little more even. This is how I kind of map up my side faces. I don't do a lot of mapping. Like, I don't draw a circle like this and then I do these lines because I don't think they help me. The only time I use these lines are when I'm confused about face angles. And the problem is that sometimes I can't do, let's say, like, I need her to look down, right? And so we have the same 3 points, but to make her look down, I have a hard time visualizing. So I draw in the lines, but I don't do the circle for the head. I don't think that's very useful for me. So the lines kind of indicate where my eyes will be looking, and then you have the center line for your nose and your mouth. So then the eyes would follow kind of like this, and then you can see that it gives more of a looking down shape. And by drawing these guidelines in, sometimes it gives me just an idea of where I want a character to look. But if it's just a doodle, it's just not really necessary, I don't think, unless you have like a certain composition you're going for. Sorry, I'm gonna change the music before I get in trouble. Hello. If you guys have any questions, I'll ask for them near the end. And hello, Seru. Okay, and so that's how I map out kind of my faces. And it has been a while. Welcome back. So I guess for eyes, you can see that, like, these 2 lines indicate how even the eye should be. And by keeping them kind of on the same line, you understand their shape a bit more. Thank you for the follow, Jing Yong. Hello, Rhubarb. Have a good lurk, Jimmy. And so, remember that things get warped as you turn. So this eye is going to be thinner than, say, this eye. And same with the side of the face. The side of the face has a curve here because your cheek comes out. and then the cheek kind of shows here, and then your forehead curves it back around. Oops. My lines look nothing like yours. You'll get used to it. It's just it's really, I've gotten into the habit of it because every doodle of mine starts off like this. So after you kind of create these lines, I like to define the chin slightly. At first, when I was younger, I didn't like it, but then I saw so many people did that. I was like, why do you define the chin? I never asked, but I just took note of it. Because I guess having an open chin is slightly weirder. But I've gotten into the habit. And then I always like to define this cheek too. Just to show that the face does curve in right here where the eyes are. It's a little more sunk in because your nose comes out and then your mouth kind of comes out like that too. And like it shows when you do profiles like this, right? So you have the little nose and then you have the mouth. This is where your eyes are. They're significantly behind your nose and your mouth. Thank you for the bits. Yes, it's a fish eating me. Hello, mixed skills. 6 years and I can only pull off a 6 person. 9 years only pull. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Right? And so the eyes here in that little dip, and then you have your nose and your mouth that are also lined up again. Yeah. Does anyone have any questions regarding how to draw very few angles? This is how I do my faces. If I have to do something more complicated, I would definitely look into practicing drawing face angles. Every single one of my drawings is like this, and very few do you ever see me drawing side faces. And it's not because I find the side profile hard, I find the side body hard. Like I have no idea what to do with an arm, or like how does the back work. The human body has a lot of things to counterbalance, and I just never studied our counterbalances. Do you use a mirror tool for front profiles? Yes. So if we're going to do front profiles, right? Let's get my symmetrical ruler out. It's a little crooked, it's fine. So you start off with the same kind of shape, and then I always curve it in a bit too, so you get the cheeks again. But I don't do this a whole bunch anymore because I like to slim it down. But it's very slight. And then you have the chin, and then you have the head. Okay, you can see where the jawline is here, the chin, and then the little dip. And inside the little dip is where I put my eyes. But yeah, sorry, it looks kind of weird. Do you know that when you sever is I think you mean that a limb grows back. I don't think the leg grows a whole new body. But yes. So that's how I take care of the basic part of the head. And I guess foreheads, for me are quite large. They're quite far away. And the like top third, top like half, a little less than a half, is used for the forehead. And we have like the bottom half is split in half again. So then a quarter is a quarter, yes, and this is another quarter, is used for the mouth and the nose. The nose is going to be on that line, and then another quarter just for the eyes. How to finish the second eye? I actually do not, but the warp tool is your friend, because the idea is that this eye is going to be more warped than this eye is, right? So even right here, you see that I did not do a very good job of the second eye. This is the second. This is the one inside the angle. And so something you need to understand is that your grid of your face for this eye looks, actually no, it looks kind of like this, right? But I needed to get this to be right here because this eye's grid is right here, and if I were to warp it so that it looks like this eye, I would be more squeezed in. And so what I do is I will take my lasso tool, and then I go to File, Transform, Mesh Transform, and they give you a grid to mess around with, and I would probably squeeze in that top liner, and it would give more of the illusion that it's like far away and like squished into the angle. And yeah, so that way you see that the eyes are still even like this from top to bottom. And for here, you see the distance from the nose to the eye is shorter than this distance. That's also to emphasize the angle of the turn. Okay, I think we can move into coloring skin. Quiff. Okay, I'll do a quick flirt with you in Mandarin. 我爱你，我想跟你一起一辈子。我的心脏只为你跳动。我没有男朋友，你比太阳还热，你会和我在一起吗？ Okay, so coloring skin. Let's get a face up.
What do you want?
Oh, sorry, not you, Alexa. Let's give her some bangs so that I can show you how to shade that part. Ah. Okay. 谢谢你，没关系。So skin colors, right? So as you guys can see, I tend to be a pink person. So I like him to go into the peachy side of the colors. Let me take away my background so you guys can see my color wheel. My color wheel is very important to me. Hello, Ords Plays. So you see I'm in the like kind of warmer spectrum. A lot of people go up here for their skin colors, where I'm wiggling my what is this called? Slider. But I like to go here, a little pinker tones, and then I like to go very close to the white and make sure I make sure that I'm all the way up so I can get the most. I think it's the most saturated of the color. I don't want it to be dull. Thank you for the follow, Avarosa, and just a fan. And so I'm gonna use this color. It's very hard to see, but there's a slight difference. And just kind of block that in real quick. And then you're gonna go to your multiply layer. You're gonna go add a layer, clip it, and then change it to multiply. And then these are the colors I like to use. I go into the very darkish pinky purples, and then I go a little bit below the highest saturation. And so the color that I'm going to be using is this one. But on a multiply layer, it's different because you can see that there's a slight difference in color. So this one is actually a bit warmer because my skin tone underneath has altered it. Do you guys see the difference between the two? But yeah. And so that's what a multiply layer does for you. It changes it so that it looks like it's more cohesive to what's happening underneath. And so if I were gonna go really blocky with it, let's go to my multiply layer again. And go underneath the bangs. And I like to vary the thickness, and this can indicate where light is coming from, but honestly, I just do it randomly, however I feel like it. One way to show that this piece of hair isn't like stuck on her face is to make sure that the shadow is further away, and to show when something is closer to further, the shadow gets further away than when something is closer. Do you guys see that? So basically the tip of her hair is more curled up, right? So it would be farther from her skin. And then you kind of connect back there. And I would just fill in it like this. Go underneath those curled kind of, what are they, like cowlicks, right? Yeah. So this is basically where the shading comes in. After I do kind of this, I like to lock it, and then I'll get pink and I'll like airbrush it so it's a little warmer at the like tops and the sides, and then I'll actually go in with like a blue to make it like slightly maybe purple and just kind of also give it another tone, and that kind of does it for me on the shading there. And you can see like on my chin or below my chin, you see the neck shading. You see how it's bluish and it's like pink. I do the same thing there. Another way I do the face shading, I have the multiply layer, and then I get my pinks, and then I add blush. And for the blush, I like to go into the corners of the eye. Like I concentrate it right here and then I blend it out. As opposed to like some people will do it on the actual cheek like this, so it's like a rounded cheek, but I like to go all the way up and then kind of fluff it down. So this is one way to do it, and this is my way. I just prefer this way. And then thank you for the follow, Akin Dao. Something I've been doing lately is lips a little bit more, and I just kind of add a little pink there and then blend it out, so it's like a gradient, and it's nothing too harsh either. Thank you for the follow, Apple. It's just to show that there's a little bit there. And then for VTuber models, I don't do this on many of my other drawings. I'll add a slight shadow like on top of the nose, like this, just so it shows that like there is kind of a plane here like this. And yeah, other ways to color skin or change up the colors is really simple, because I would still use these colors on the multiply layer, and then I can change the layer underneath. So if I wanted, I'll alpha lock that. Let's say if I wanted something a little tanner, slightly tanner, I would still be able to do it, because it would keep the nice blue purple warmth that I have, and it doesn't change it too much. And that way multiply layers also help you in case you do want to edit your base colors. And yeah, that's a basic skin tutorial, and if let's go into a couple of examples where I do this. Let's analyze my model, I guess. Let me add a white backing so it's not hard to look at. So this is my sprite, and you can see under the chin we have, I'm so sorry, we have the blue, and then we have that like rough pink, right? And so actually I didn't mention this, but it kind of happens on its own sometimes from the airbrushing, but there's sometimes I add a little line here just to define the shadow a bit. You can see that I airbrushed the line in here. You can see the gradient going in a bit. And again with the blush, you see that I come all the way from like, I concentrate it here and then I kind of lightly go out here versus like a swirl like this. Same thing with the lips, a slight gradient that gets lighter. And you can see that I drew another little line here, but it's only really if I want to emphasize some shapes. I use more peach tones here. I didn't want to use a lot of the blue and harsh pinks because I think I was getting lazy, and I don't think it needs it. A lot of the times when I use the heavy pinks and blues, it's when it's like a small piece that I'm shading and it needs more emphasis. Like you see how I have pink hair? It's kind of hard to see any shading. So that's why I add the line sometimes. Let's go into another drawing. For this one, I added the lines manually because it was just a doodle. And I have the blue, I have the pink right here, the blush that's concentrated from here, the blue inside the corner of the neck with the pink, and it's more peachy tones this time. And oh, for fingers, I did the airbrush of like red right here, and then I lightened it up with some bluish tones. And oh, Roly, heyo. So for harsher shadows, make sure you have a defined line like this. Whereas on some other parts of the skin, like the stomach, I like softened it. For clothing and like chins and things like that, I definitely have a lot more harsh lines. But that's basically it. Does anyone else have any questions? Hi, Snova. My multiply layer just darkens my color, and it kind of interacts really nicely. It's like one of my favorite layers. I missed a step where you made it warmer. How did you do that? Oh, the skin. So my multiply layers on top, right? And those won't be affected by whatever I do to this layer. I alpha locked it, and so I can just pick another skin tone and then color over it, and then turn back on the other layers. How do you shade color lips? Okay, I don't do a lot to them because in anime it's really subtle. 1 second. So where did I put it? So for this, I take like a pink, and I'll just do it like at the very edge of the mouth right here. And then I'll like blend it out with my blend blur tool. and it's really soft, and basically that's it. That's all I do it. And then sometimes I'll add like a white highlight, like here, and that's about the majority of what I do. But sometimes the white highlight just looks like she didn't put her lipstick on fully, so I'm not sure. Have I considered art classes? Probably not. Canvas size for me, like a default, I adjust it based on what I feel like, but my current default is 2500 by 1500, and then I adjust it as I go. I don't really have a set one, but I just change it. Yes, it is magic. Any other, I use a certain layer to brighten things. Oh. Does anyone have any last questions? Any last questions on the face or skin coloring? How do I get the skin tone like your character model? It's on the pinkier-ish side. Also, you can just color pick from one of my images if you want the same exact one. Lips, maybe? Okay, I'll show them again. So for lips, on your multiply layer, you get the color you want it to be, and I like to go really subtle on them. So then you color it in real quick, and then you get your blend tool, and then you blend it out at the edges, so it's kind of like a gradient. And I don't do lips a lot because it's only barely do I ever do them. And then you can add like a little highlight right here if you really want to. Which tools and sizes are recommended for line art? So currently I don't use this, but I like how loose it is. Everyone likes the G pen, but I do not like the G pen at all. If you look at the G pen, it's really pixelated. Do you guys see that? Versus the mapping pen. Like the mapping pen is so much softer, and so it hides a lot of my mistakes. So I like using the mapping pen. I know it looks kind of blurry, but it's my favorite pen for doodling, I guess, because I just use it to run around really quick. The other pen I use right now is this Line Art 2 pen. It's a brush from Sai that I got off Clip Studio Paint Assets, and it's really good for line weight. Like it's really sensitive to the pressure. And I like that it tips out really well. The tip is really sharp, like this. And it's also fuzzy. It's like extremely fuzzy. Another one I use is the darker pencil, and I like it again because it's definitely more on the fuzzy side, and it's really thin tips. I don't like brushes that kind of stop midway, and the mapping pen does do that. You can see that it doesn't really come to a tip that great. It's not my favorite for things like that. But that's just the case with a lot of Clip Studio Paint brushes. I did not know that. Thank you, Rolly. Anything else? Okay, I think that will conclude the skin tutorial and the head tutorial. Thank you everyone for coming. Ice Nova, hello, eheta nadayo. Okay, nice job, nice job. That was pretty short today. I'm glad. I will upload the highlight to Twitch later.